Hello, my name is Hakim with TAKEOFFexperts.ca. Today I will talk to you about how commercial painting bidding works in general. So if you are a painting contractor who wants to focus more on commercial painting, this might be useful to you. Over 15 years ago, when I incorporated my small painting business, there was no YouTube and there were no expansive Google articles on commercial painting. And there was no OST software for measuring drawings that I was aware of. OST software would be like PlanSwift, Stack, OnCenter, Bluebeam Review, and so on. I will make a separate video about OST software choices later on. Today your job has become a bit easier, and this video is proof of that. At the same time, other small to medium-sized painting contractors who are your competition also have access to YouTube, etc. So the difference then will be whether you take steps to bid on the commercial jobs or whether you will keep on competing in the cheaper residential painting market, which gets more saturated more quickly when the economy slows down or when winter comes along. Now, of course, if you're living in Texas, maybe you don't have to worry about that. Now, you may be a bit apprehensive about bidding on commercial painting. But if you understand the basic process and bid the right way, you can bid on more commercial jobs. It is not really as complicated as some people think. Let's quickly define commercial painting. There are at least 3 types of commercial painting projects that I have done with my painting crew. Repaints, that's color changes in offices, TI or tenant improvements, also known as renovations, and new builds. Repainting offices is similar to repainting houses. You go and look over the job, take notes, take some measurements, and prepare your quotation and give it to the office manager or whoever. You don't need my guidance for that. With TI projects, the GC sends you the drawings or an invitation to bid along with the drawings or a link to the drawings. Sometimes you get a chance to go to the job site to look over the scope of the work. They call that a walkthrough or a site visit. That's when you'll see other trades and other painting contractors looking over the job while the architect and the senior estimator or the owner of the project are describing the scope of the work and answering questions. But keep in mind that even after looking at the job site, you still have to read and measure the drawings, read the spec file, if any, especially section 09, which talks about the finishing, and read the addendums that may come in, which may affect the painting scope of work. Like for example, taking out an additional wall or putting an additional partition or whatever. The third kind of commercial painting we have done is new builds. Now with new builds, there is no job site to go and look at. So you have to be super careful with that. This requires reading the drawings properly and measuring them properly. If you can't or don't want to measure drawings, or simply don't have the time to measure all the drawings coming your way for all the projects, get someone to measure the drawings for you and prepare the costing spreadsheet for you so that you can then spend a few minutes to put together a quote for the GC using your own pricing. Now, you don't have to share the price list with your estimator if you don't want to, especially if it's somebody working outside of your company or your office. This way, you can compete with bigger painting contractors, even those who have been in business longer than you, but are still not bothering to do proper takeoffs and costing. Now this is very important, so I will repeat this. If you use a takeoff and estimation service, you can compete with bigger painting contractors, even those who have been in business longer than you but are still not bothering to do proper takeoffs and costing. I know of contractors who have gone out of business because they submitted bids based on assumptions and did things the old-fashioned way. By old-fashioned, I mean they did not bother measuring the drawings accurately and just eyeballed the drawings. You also need to read the specs in section 09 and watch out for changes to the plans after initial release of the drawings. Now, before I summarize here, I need to ask you to do me a favor. Do help me remain motivated to keep on making these videos in my own time. So if you think I'm doing a good effort so far, do give me a thumbs up. You could go one step further and click on subscribe to keep me motivated enough to improving the quality of the videos I will be bringing to your fingertips, so that you can in turn be driven enough to bid on more commercial painting projects. So here is the takeaway of this video. Number one, that there are many projects to bid on. Your job is to decide which size of a project you want to bid on based on your financial capability, your painting experience, your crew's experience, very important, and your lines of credit. Number two, find a good, reliable takeoff expert or estimator to do your takeoffs for you, instead of saying, I don't have time to measure these drawings, I'm too busy right now running my business, or this looks too complicated, and so on. These are excuses that anyone could use, so don't use them. Number three, set up your own price list that you feel comfortable to use for bidding purposes, whereby you are sure you can't lose money. If you don't know what the going rate is for certain work, find out what the rates are in your particular market. Ask other subcontractors that you know. Some of them will share and some of them will not, but ask around. Number four, when you get the takeoffs from your estimator, whether an in-house part-time estimator or a professional service that you can use occasionally, put in your pricing and see if the total looks and feels reasonable for the scope and size of the project based on your previous experiences. If the price feels a little low for the size and scope of the work, you can always increase pricing for some of the items, within reason of course, such as for vinyl wall covering installation or spraying ceilings, etc. Then write up your detailed quote and send it to the GC with confidence. Keep in mind, your job is to make a profit, not necessarily have the lowest bid and make minimum wage or worse. It is better not to get a contract than to lose money. I learned that a few years back on a TI project, whereby I made on average only $50 per day after paying my painters for about a week or so until we finished the project. Keep on bidding on those commercial painting projects. Remember, to win more jobs, you have to bid on more jobs. This is Hakim with TAKEOFFexperts.ca. You can't learn everything in one day. So see you in my next video on another topic concerning bidding on commercial painting projects.